What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to learn more about the difference between Caro-Kane Variation and Alien Gambit. Here with us we have the one and only Jeremy Kane, the founder of Caro-Kane Variation, and he's also chess.com staffer and a very good chess player. He's national master, like 2700 bullets. He's really good. So can you please introduce yourself to the community?
Hi, as he said, I'm Jeremy Kane. I'm a national master. I'm the curriculum director at chess.com. And when I mess around in bullet games, I like to play the Caro-Kane variation against the Caro-Kan. And let's take a look at how it goes.
Yes, so before we continue, so Caro-Kane variation is one variation and Alien Gambit is different. Unfortunately, we have seen a lot of people mistaken Caro-Kane variation with Alien Gambit, but I just want you to know, guys, that Alien Gambit is d4. And after d5, this is the Alien Gambit. This is the Alien Gambit. Pawn is on d4. The pawn is on f3. Now, the Caro-Kane variation that is founded by Jeremy Kane is pawn f3 here, pawn c3, take here, and this is Caro-Kane variation, right? Am I right?
That is correct. You can do either knight out on move 2 versus 3. It doesn't really matter the order.
Yes.
But you're going to get this critical position.
Yes, and before I let you explain some lines, after h6, take, and if you play d4, this is Alien Gambit. This is pure Alien Gambit. It's literally transposed. Though the difference is that in Caro-Kane variation, you don't play the pawn d4, you attack right away. So I'll let our dear friend Jeremy explain, please.
Excellent. So let's take a look at some critical lines.
Yes.
We get after pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, knight f6, knight g5. That's our defining move of the Caro-Kane variation.
Yes.
And the critical move is h6, which we can look at in a little bit. But let's just refute some other black ideas. Anything else that I think is pretty comfortable for white. A very common mistake you're going to see is e6, and already white has just an amazing position. After knight e5, there is no good way to guard f7. We're already winning. I'm just going to quickly show a fun game I've had in this line. h6 takes. We're already up material. We don't want to drop this knight with check, so don't take the rook yet. We're going to just play d4. You can save the rook, but it just hardly matters. This is just a completely dominant position for white.
Yes.
And in this particular game, we're going to end in style. If you want, you can pause your video here and find the win. Check. Check. And mate.
Wow. If I remember correctly, your point was super strong, right?
Yeah, opponent is, I believe, also a national master.
Yes. So that was beautiful aesthetically checkmate, sacrificing your queen. Well done.
All right, let's move on to some slightly more critical lines. Although this one's also, again, not quite the main line, and we're going to crush pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We get our critical position here, and if they play bishop f5, again, we're going to attack on the light squares, particularly f7.
Yes.
You know, like knight e5, force him to retreat, bishop c4. Again, we're hitting f7, e6. And now I like queen e2.
Ooh.
Both of these weak squares can cause a lot of trouble. And the mistake that you're going to see a lot is knight d7, which is already simply losing. Again, if you want tactics practice, you can pause here and try to figure it out for yourself. Or we can just watch takes, and sacrifice. If he takes, it's actually checkmate.
Wow. Already. And I still believe that you beat a master with this, right?
Yes, I've gotten good games in this variation as well. But now it's probably time to focus on our critical line where it's like the Alien Gambit, and we're going to take on f7. So this is just a game against an IM. Again, mostly play this in bullet, occasionally blitz. These knight f7 lines are not quite sound for classical chess at the master and grandmaster level. You're certainly welcome to give them a try. But I think they work best in short time controls. So h6, takes, check. Some insane people play king e6, but we're just going to play d4. We're already winning. That king is terrible shape on e6.
True.
But a very common mistake is king to e8. And it might look like it's reasonable. He's avoiding the checks, but white's already much better with this very clever move, bishop d3. We're blocking the d-pawn, but there's no way to stop the bishop from coming to g6, which in this position would actually already be checkmate.
Wow. Already black is worse, right?
Yeah, black's already in trouble.
Wow.
And this is just one game. It's not, perfect play. Again, these are fast games.
Yes.
But we don't even want the rook because you don't want to give him the g2 pawn. Let's just castle and play for the attack. Black's position, even up a piece, is just a huge mess. Again, this is not necessarily what you have to do, but this is how my game went. c4, sacrificing to get time on the queen. Check.
Beautiful.
And this discovery with that terrible black king in the center is going to decide the game. And
Very, very
Beautiful
interesting.
checkmate. Beautiful. And that was against international master, right?
that is correct. Yeah.
Nice. Well done. So what was like as I can see here that you attack right away. That's the advantage in Caro-Kane because your knight is only on f3, right? So you attack right away, constantly create threats.
Yeah. So should we look at the most critical variation, the one line that top players are going to play if they know it?
Yes.
That is going to at least make our life a little harder. Let's take a look
Just
at
a
that.
little.
And that is king to g8. So I'm just going to pull up one quick game here.
Oh, it's lagging.
Look
Okay.
at our main line here, knight g5, h6. Don't mind the engine saying question mark on knight g5. This is still a fun opening.
Yes.
Takes, check, and king g8's the best move. If you're stockfish, you can call that a refutation.
Yes.
Your opponents are not stockfish. You can still score really well here. Even Hikaru Nakamura plays this on occasion in blitz games.
Yes. Like he did yesterday, actually.
Yes, played it yesterday and won his game.
Yes.
So here we're just going to develop quickly. And this one actually gets positions similar to the Alien Gambit. We might even transpose.
Oh, yes. But actually,
I like to play d4. I believe Hikaru likes to put the queen on e2 there. But they're both reasonable.
just stop you here, please. In Alien Gambit, we don't put the pawn on e5. We keep it on f3. Only after we castle, put the rook on e1, then we go pawn e5. We take more positional approach so that black can have more room to error.
Ah, okay. So Alien Gambit goes for longer term
Yes.
compensation. I'm still playing a little more for the attack.
Yes. And one thing, if you put the pawn on e5, the pawn can be challenged, right? With pawn d7.
The knight can be challenged, although knight d7 actually already gets mated.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Check, exactly. That's a common mistake too for black. And for whatever reason, almost all of my opponents like to challenge this knight on e5. And I just love to play f4.
Yes.
And when they take it, we open the f file. And already white has full compensation, I think.
Yes.
The f file is going to be critical. Black has a very hard time developing.
Yes.
Let's say knight d5, castle, knight d7, queen h5, and this attack is already huge. It's difficult for black to find a way to stop. Just queen f7 coming in soon.
Light squares are so weak. Light squares are so weak.
Exactly. This game ended quickly. Just knight f8. And we get check.
And that's mate, actually. Wow.
And that's forced mate.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, if somebody... That's really, really great games against very, very strong players. If somebody asks you, what is the most important thing to learn in Caro-Kane Variation? What is the thing I should focus? What would you reply?
So I think the key thing to focus on is just going for those light squares. So sacrifice on f7. If that black king goes to e8, remember the trick with bishop d3 coming to g6.
Yes.
If the black king goes back to g8, we put the bishop on c4, and we make sure to be able to recapture on e5 when they take your knight. You want to be able to take back and open the f file.
Yes, yes. Usually when you're happy when they take on e5, right?
Yes, if they take on e5 and I can get my rook in the attack,
yes,
that's all I need. That's usually going to be full compensation for the
piece. Great. And if they don't take the pawn on e5, let's say they play something like queen e7. Oh, but they pawn g6. It's difficult now. How do you develop, right?
We can, if they play queen e7, we can at least get an exchange back whenever we want it with knight g6.
Yeah.
And we can also just build up the attack if they develop quietly. Like, I don't know, bishop d7 or something. We can just castle.
And then you can swing with rookie.
Yeah, rook can swing, queen can swing. There's good pressure even if we're playing kind of slowly. Black takes a very long time to unwind. Like, it's not clear how these pieces are getting in.
True. Nice. Very, very nice. I love it. I love the Caro-Kane Variation. That's it. We will spend 10 minutes of Caro-Kane, 10 minutes of Alien Gambit. Thank you so much, Jeremy Kane, for take your time to explain it. So, as I can see, Caro-Kane Variation named by you for how to say it? It's named over you. Is attack, attack, attack. You put the pawn on e5, you deliver check on c4, and you aim for constant threats, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we put the knight on e5 with check, and we play for mate.
Yeah, and very, very important thing. If you want guys to play the Caro-Kane Variation over Alien Gambit against the Caro-Kane, take heart here. It's very important to know the move order. You put the pawn on f3. On move 2, you don't go. If you go d4, you cannot play Caro-Kane Variation. Am I right?
That is correct. d4 is a good move, but it'll lead to either mainline Caro-Kanes or the Alien Gambit.
Yes. So, my dear friends, when you face the Caro-Kane c6, pawn f3 to play Caro-Kane Variation, you can still transpose to Alien Gambit, but take heart. If you play d4, you cannot transpose to Caro-Kane Variation. You can only play the Alien Gambit. For example, d5, pawn c3, take, pawn f6, pawn g5 here, and pawn takes f7. This is the Alien Gambit. The difference between Alien Gambit and Caro-Kane Variation is that the pawn is on d2 and the pawn is on f3. That is Caro-Kane Variation. And in Alien Gambit, the pawn is on d4. So you might say, what are the differences? Well, the first difference is that you cannot attack aggressively like in the Caro-Kane Variation because your pawn is already on f3. And that usually is good for attack. In Alien Gambit, you focus more on the position aspect of the king and the weak light squares around the pawn's king. So you play pawn h3. And if they go something like bishop f5, then you go pawn e5 check. Here, check, e6, and you go g4. And it's very messy, but it's very long life.
That's a nice trap.
Yes, if they go here, then you take here, and then go g5. Sacrifice the rookie.
Wow.
Yes, and that's how she wrote. And if they don't go back the bishop, if there's something like pawn g7 to protect, take heart. In the Caro-Kane Variation, the pawn is already on e5 given check. Am I right?
That is correct, yeah.
So we use advantage. I mean, when you attack, it's usually better. So it's very. I think both variations are great. It just all depends of your style. But now you focus to put the pawn on e5. So you go bishop g3. I like putting the bishop on g3 because on c4 the pawn can block, and then most of the times you have to go back. So in the Alien Gambit you have the options. Should you put the bishop on c4 or on d3? And if I'm not mistaken, in the Caro-Kane Variation, you almost always put it on c4 when they go king g8, right?
If the king stays on that diagonal, you check on c4. If the king goes back to e8, we'll go to d3 so we can get into g6.
And you're completely winning, yes. And of course, after bishop d3, again, when you play positionally, you give black more options to error, but take heart, you're a piece down, and you have to prove compensation. So it's double sword, right? Double-edged sword. So for example, you go bishop d3, they go e6, then you go castle, bishop d6. Here, again, it's vital to control the d5 square. In the Caro-Kane Variation, you put the pawn right away, but in the Alien Gambit, you don't. So it's vital to castle, put the rook on e1, and support d5 break. And if they go something like rook e8, and then you go pawn e5 check. That's super duper vital move. Now, if they take, they're losing. You're completely winning. You take, and take heart. I have beaten IMs, GMs, and 5Ms are like with this line. Because after queen h5 and bishop takes h6, yes, you just sacrifice. They go here, then you sacrifice again, and you just go d4. Double brilliance. Yeah, I have done that against international masters. And if they take, then you go here. And if they don't take, so as you said in the Caro-Kane Variation, you're happy when they take, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And
same thing here.
It's just that your pawn was on f4. And here we have our rook in
Caro-Kane, we try to open the f file. Here you're getting your rook in by lifting it.
Yes. So if they don't take, then you go here, then you go queen f3. And now international masters alike have played here pawn f8 because the light squares are so weak. Just in the Caro-Kane Variation, it's all about light squares, my dear friends, right?
Yes.
Yes. So they go pawn f8 to protect, and then we go, guess what? Bishop h6, sacrificing the bishop. They take queen g3 here and pawn f7. As you can see, the position aspect gives black so many options to blunder. But take heart, when you play position and a piece down, it's not fun because you're a piece down. So I don't know. I like both Caro-Kane Variations, great, but there's different openings, right? Because at the start, you just play pawn f3. That's just a different move, different variations, right? You cannot merge Caro-Kane and Alien Gambit.
Exactly. They're distinct openings. They both have some similar attacking ideas, but yeah, the
Yes.
style when you have the extra knight out versus having more center control with the pawn on d4 is going to make the ideas a little bit different.
Yes, exactly. So, when you when you face the Caro-Kane, my dear friends, you have to choose: do I want to play Caro Kane variation with pawn f3, or do you want to play elegant with d4? And if you change your mind, you start with Caro Kane. There's also d4 move. Is d4 good actually for black here?
I think d4 is not critical. I think knight e2 and this pawn can be a little difficult to defend.
Then it's c3 some kind, right?
Yeah, c3 is the idea. We're going to undermine the center.
They usually take, right? Is there pawn f6 move?
Probably playable. The main way they're going to avoid it is going to be, if they back up, is takes. Bishop g4 is also good.
I see. Nice. Now, yeah. But still, you have to face those moves when you play Caro-Kane, and of course, in the Alien Gambit, you have to face Bishop f5 too, right? Because it's a move.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
of course, white's doing well in either case, but those are, reasonable lines for black.
I see. So, yeah. If you play Caro-Kane Variation, excuse me, you can't respond to Alien Gambit. That's vital. But if you play Alien Gambit, you just cannot transpose to Caro-Kane Variation. You just cannot. Is there any way that you can transpose to Caro-Kane Variation?
You might get similar positions if depending on what they play. Like if they played King G8 here, you could get sort of the same thing if you want to. But I would say the Alien Gambit is less forcing, so both sides have some more options for what they want to do.
Yes, exactly. But wait a second. So yeah, but the king's in G8, so it's not Alien Gambit. The king's on G8. The fight is different.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different idea.
Yeah, it's a different idea. You just don't put the pawn on e5 before you have castle. You put the rook here.
Yeah, so I would say that it's a very they have some similar ideas with the knight sacrifice on f7, but definitely distinct openings. You want to choose carefully based on the type of game you want to get.
Yes. My dear friend Jeremy, you have box, right? Guys, I will list on the pinned comment his box about the Alien Gambit. Excuse me, about Caro-Kane Variation. And right?
Yes, I have a blog post on the Caro-Kane, just sort of an introduction if you want to see these ideas in text. And please give it a try and let us know how it goes.
Yes, and for the Alien Gambit, I have made 2 educational videos about the Alien Gambit. I will pin them in the comments, so if your heart desires, you can learn from them. And both openings are great. They're different. Take heart, they're completely different, distinguished openings, as Jeremy agrees, right?
Yes.
There's huge difference with the move order and the attacking possibilities, because Alien Gambit is more of a positional bind against a piece down, and Caro-Kane is more forcing, because you give checks immediately.
Yep.
And so that's pretty much it. Jeremy, it was on to have you. Before we end the video, can you please, because you work at J.com, tell what about Alien Gambit, when it's going to be a book move, because Caro-Kane is already a book move, right?
Yes, Caro-Kane is officially a book move on chess.com. Alien Gambit will be added in the next update. I don't know when. I assume it'll be in the next couple of months.
Yes.
They update periodically, and they do not tell me exactly when it's going to go through.
So for our friends, which move is going to be a book move? Point G5 or point SF7?
Knight G5 is going to make it the Alien Gambit. And then once there's a page for it, we can add some analysis with the key ideas of knight takes f7 and how to build the attack.
So basically, after Caro-Kane main line, point G5 is already Alien Gambit.
Exactly.
And H6 point SF7 will remain a blunder or a book move.
I am not sure. That's up to how the system works. But I don't think anyone's going to play knight G5 and then want to just bring it back to F3.
You're right. But actually, it's vital, because without H6, you can never sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because in Caro-Kane, I believe this is already Caro-Kane Variation book move.
Yes, this is what defines the Caro-Kane.
Yes, and here this is already it's not a book move, it's an accuracy, I believe, or a weak move.
I think the engine might call it inaccuracy, although it's not a blunder because knight h3 is already a bad position.
You
So
just don't.
you might as well sacrifice once you're here.
Yeah, when you play point g5, the idea is sacrifice, right?
Exactly.
Great, great, Jeremy. It was such an honor to have you in a collab video together for you to explain the Caro-Kane Variation alliance tricks, because you're the founder of it, you know best. And thank you so much for listening to our Alien Gambit, the tips and tricks. And thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
It's been great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. This was Jeremy Kane, the founder of Caro-Kane Variation, and both Gambit are incredible. If your heart desires, you can go give them a try. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely and peaceful, incredible day, everybody.
Oh, we got the Witty Alien. I'm not going to play the Gambit against the Witty Alien. He knows how to play against it. We aren't sacking against the Witty Alien himself. No siree. No can-do'sville, baby doll. We're not sacking against him. Not against him. Against anybody else, I'll do it, but not against him. He's too OP. He knows the opening too well. Let's go knight f3 and g3 here. He's too OP. Back is knight, rook h5.